I hadn't attended a Hudson Cup until this year in person,
Yeah.
and what a cool event
It's
to be
phenomenal.
there. Willamette Valley did a great job. Allison, the general manager, and John, the
Growthy to put it on that sort of notice.
yeah,
Give,
really
give kudos to Molly and
Tanner.
Tanner. I mean,
Yeah.
to be able to pull that. But isn't that a cool event?
It really is. It really is. And I've been involved in some other cup events where I was an officer, another section, and that's really a cool event. But the Hudson Cup memory, the reason why it's called the Hudson Cup and what he did to basically make the Ryder Cup get restarted is like pretty spectacular. I'm so glad I got to hear that. And then also just the play was great to see. I mean, obviously I was kind of focused on following one person around, but once the thing, once he was done with his match, to see the regular team, come back, and then also to see, obviously, to have us, me being just a guy hanging around with you and with a bunch of other people on either the 18th or the 9th green, depending on where the match was going to finish, was just, it was just, to me, that's almost as cool as being at the Ryder Cup. It's just probably with a lot less noise.
And what an exciting finish.
Yeah.
I mean, with Fisher making the putt on 9.
Yeah.
To keep it going, right? And then, I'd played the earlier round with Thornton, and I got, Brandis me again. I mean, Tommy's such a great player. He's become a really good friend, but you have to beat Tom. Tom's not going to, Frank Planer, Kay Hansen, they're not going to mess up. You've got to play some great golf. I lasted as long as I could. And then, to have, BT come in there and have to make that putt on the last hole. Because when I looked at me, I go, and he's playing a kid that he's taught, right? He teaches that young man who's one of the nicest young men there. But, BT's got to make that putt. And then Faye, it just got coming down to everyone's got to make these putts to keep it going. And they did. I mean, incredible.
Yeah. And actually you say his BT had to make the putt, but he also had, he was under the tree. And actually Fisher made a putt on 18, but BT was in the trees on 9. He hit this really nice little recovery just to give himself a chance to have a fairly stock chip, but under the pressure,
50 yards, right? 50 yards, 40 yards.
Yeah. There's no such thing as stock chip. Back pin. So that was really, really neat to see. And obviously Fisher birdie in the 18th hole to beat another great player, who had actually the tie.
That was to tie, yeah. Because was he playing Robbie that birdied 4 holes in a row to get back into it or something? Yeah. But what I love about the Hudson Cup is it's just that camaraderie to where you've got 20 golf pros and 20 AMs, right? And I think I've played 6 or 7, and maybe 7, and there's never been at any point that I've seen someone just pissed off leaving. It's a great match, and no one wants to lose, right? No one wants to get beat. But once your match is over, let's go find the next one. Let's go find the next one. Let's go grab a drink and see these guys. Let's go support them. And you saw that. You saw that firsthand. That you haven't been to one. That's the way it is. But normally, the matches don't come down to that last hole. I mean, like when the kids went to the Ryder Cup, they got a good spot on 18 at Oakland Hills. I don't know any matches went to 18, right? This one, if you had a seat at 18 or 9, you were right there, right? So,
and the cool part is we're all over on 18 watching Fisher and Robbie come in, and then somebody, I don't know who said it, but somebody goes, "Hey, so and so is over here. We should go to 9." And we just all walk over there. We close, and there was no security. There was no ropes, but so it was actually really easy to see. I remember going out towards 8T. We all went out towards 8T to watch Benzel and his match, if I'm not mistaken. And so, yeah, it's really cool. And the other part I think that makes the Hudson Cup special is obviously the players from the Oregon Golf Association and the Wall Golf. That's actually the 5 best who are in the regular division and the 5 best who are in the senior division in both of those associations. So it's Actually, I mean, it's the best of the best. Like, that's a lot of people, and then it's the 10 from the section, which includes both, all of those, and then Northern Idaho, Western Montana, and Alaska. In some ways, the fact that the pros were able to compete, it's kinda stacked against them a little bit because I mean, they're actually filtering out some people who probably could be there, but also, I think part of the reason why you guys are so, I guess, such professionalism going on is that you actually know these people. Like, it's not like, "Oh, I just see them at this event." It's like, "No, I saw them in the Washington Open or the Oregon Open or the Rose Hours or the Northwest Open," or maybe in the case of Brian Thornton, like, you literally taught this person, or in the case of Fisher and Robbie, like, they grew up playing junior golf together.
Yeah, lived on the course, right? Then Robbie lives at Willamette Valley. So, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, but yet they're really tight, and so in some ways, it's really cool to see, and then I really enjoyed, talking to Ted Westling, by the ninth green, just he was telling me stories about a shot that he saw Jerry Molds hit from the range in a Hudson Cup on that hole, so it's some really cool stuff. So, if I was gonna ask you what's your besides the Hudson Cup, what's your sort of favorite tournament memory that you would Brittany Chase's kids someday?
they actually witnessed it, but, I think it was 1998 or 99. I think 98, maybe, probably 98. The Alaska International Pro-Am was a phenomenal tournament. Billy Casper ran it, and he would get all the it was the senior tour then, not Champions Tour, but all the senior tour players that weren't gonna play in the senior open would come to Alaska. And if you're a golfer, usually you love to fish, so they put on fishing tournaments. But, I mean, I play with George Archer. There's a Masters champion, Billy Casper. I was playing probably the best golf I had played, and it was at Eagle Glen Golf Course, which is no longer there, unfortunately, through the bases. Probably the first Robert Trent Jones course to ever close. I was playing the final round with a young man from Hawaii named Dean Wilson. You know Dean Wilson? He was the one that played with Annika. When Annika played her PGA Tour event, he played with her in the Texas Open or Byron, whatever it was. But Dean was on his way to playing the tour. I think he actually won a tour event. And I'm nervous. There's a big gallery. I've got a 2-shot lead going into the final round. And we battle all the way around, and I start making bombs. He's hitting it 10 feet, can't make a putt. And you kind of learn to putt Alaska greens because they're not very good normally. But I made so many putts to keep in it going into 18. We were tied. And 18 is a beautiful par 5 going along Ship Creek. Got water all the way down the right side, trees left. And then the water swoops in front of the green with a huge tree kind of blocking your second or third shot. And we both hit good drives. I hit it more right where I needed to be to kind of go around the tree or over it. And Dean had hit it about 15 yards past me. And so my caddy, Larry Buss, who's still a great friend now, I play with him in about 3 or 4. He comes to the Holcomb and 1 or those, but he's up the bag. And so we walk up and we look at Dean's ball, right? Dean's in a divot. Dean's got a terrible lie. And we're like, we got him. He can't probably advance this because you got a creek, tucked, got a tree, pins back left. So anyways, I actually had 2 irons back then, but I ended up a 2 iron, took it OB around the tree, over the water, hit it on the right side of the green. And I'm like, we got it, right? So everyone's cheering, probably 400 or 500 people out there. So he's got to lay it up, right? Well, he has this Ginty, might have been a Stan Thompson, but I had the meat on the bottom, and I'm like, Larry, he's got to try to hit this on the green. Probably the best shot ever. I thought mine was good. We hit it out of that divot to within 15 feet behind the hole. You could ask anyone who was there. I'll say it's probably the best golf shot under those circumstances I've ever seen, and might see again. But I think I was so much in shock. I 3-putted, he 2-putted, and he won. But it was like you went from "I've got him because 'cause I'm on the green in 2, he can't get it up the green, he's gonna lay it up." But that would be probably one of the bigger, even though I lost that event. I flew out that night, I flew down to the Assistants Championship at Shadow Hills, and I lost in a playoff there. But, playing with Dean that day and just kinda battling through demons early and getting in contention, but, that was a blast.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, you hit the shot that you needed to hit. So
Yes.
he won the
Yeah, and
versus he
I think at my age now, I probably would've just laid it up short of the water and then made him do whatever, right? So, my brain is a little bit more conservative now sometimes, not always, on how I play the game, but, you know
I mean, obviously you've got the logo on your shirt there
Yeah.
and I know several guys who use your putters and that's those labor of love things and it's like it obviously is a I'm pretty sure you tell me how did that start? Because I'm pretty sure you didn't decide I'm going to have a putting company. I'm going to make putters. It was more like I want to make more putts. So you started doing that and then I'm sure that some of your friends like James were like, "Hey, make me one."
I'd never putted conventional an event. So, when I was 10 years old, a gentleman at my grandparents' club where we'd moved to, and my dad came back from, Vietnam, Golden Hills Country Club. Jim Colby was his name, never forget. He putted that way. This is 1974, maybe 75, and I was out on the putting green, and he started showing me how to do it, and so he gave me an old mallet putter, and that was kind of when I started, and it really worked well, and then my dad and I discovered that it couldn't be 90 degrees. They just changed that. It has to be 80. Um, so we bent it the wrong way, and then, Mr. Colby gave me a '69 BC hot dog center shafted ping putter, and that's what I used forever. So started at 10, never looked back. I've always been one of the best putters around. Um, I would say before the anchoring band, I was one of the best putters in the world up till January 1st, 2016, because I had always anchored it, but I'd done that my entire life, right? I'm getting better now. I'm still a very, very good putter with it just off my shoulder. But yeah, so I mean, it just happened to be one of those deals, right place, right time. Guy does this. But what I will say is there's a very good player named Jerry Norquist, right, out of Arizona. Probably one of the best senior players down there. Played the Asian Tour, played all over the world. And I met him a couple of years ago down in Florida, and he puts on and off side saddle, right? And I introduced myself. He goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And he goes, "Anytime I meet somebody and they say, 'Do I know Billy Bomar?' He says, 'I've got one word for you, bulletproof.'" And I'm listening to him tell me this story, right? And he goes, "The reason I say that is because you putted that way in junior golf, you putted that way in high school golf, you putted that way in college golf, you putted that way on the Hogan Tour. You've always putted that way when it was not normal, when it was not really, uh the way to do it, right? And a lot of naysayers out there, right? When you're doing something different, until you make it, and they all know how to do it. But when he said that, it kind of was true, and I teach that to my junior golfers that putt that way, my college golfers. I actually just had one of my college golfers win her first college tournament. She plays at Weber State, a rich friend, and she made probably a 50-footer on 18 over Missoula last month. To win by 2, but her and her sister are twins. Her sister, Avery and Braylon, her sister plays at Idaho State. So at age 8, I started them putting side saddle, and it was kind of a goal of ours, the parents, for them to play college golf, and it came to fruition. They both got D1 scholarships, and Braylon won a golf tournament. So they're the same way because when they were younger, I would go with them to junior tournaments, and Chase was playing too. But soon as one parent's with one twin, the other parent's with the other twin. Soon as one of them made a putt, every parent said that's illegal. They should be DQ'd. They can't do that, right? And that was before Bomar Putting Company was established to where now we have more credibility. But It's never been illegal, it's never been non-conforming, it's never been against the rules, but when someone does something different, so those girls are bulletproof. 'Cause soon as they got to college, what do you think their college coaches want them to do? "Yeah, you can't putt like this." I'm like, "Oh, they can."
It's amazing, how often, it goes to show you people don't actually understand the rules. I mean, if you're straddling the line, that's a problem, but you're on the side of the line, and then obviously you mentioned the lie of the angle of the shaft entering the head has to be it can only be up to a certain degree, and other than that, like, that's the rules, and then the non-anchoring or and we could spend an hour talking about whether or not that was made any sense. The ball roll back, like, it's funny how it seems like they certain association that doesn't actually have as every golfer is not a part of that association.
And what's the USJ's model? Grow the game, right? So, you're gonna grow the game by not allowing a certain portion of your players to anchor, right? I mean, make it a tour rule, make it like square grooves. You're gonna play on the tour, you can't do it. You're gonna play with your buddies at the club, you can do it, and, I think they went backwards on that. I'll be opinionated, the rollback on the ball, but you're gonna tell someone they can't anchor, yet DeChambeau can hit it 380 yards, and that's okay, right? I mean, everyone can anchor, every not everyone can hit it 300 plus yards, right? So, yeah, and you can go either way, but if their job is to grow the game, they didn't do a very good job there.
The ball rollback, it's kinda funny, the guy that I tend to lean towards did anchor at one point, Adam Scott. Um, he has still turned to become a pretty good putter considering that, but I like his point of view on the ball rollback. It's like, if you can hit it if Bryson DeChambeau can hit it in the center of the face, let's just say that the maximum size of a driver head is 300 cc's, and if you wanna hit it as far as you can, because the ball doesn't know. The ball doesn't know, but it does know if you hit it on the toe or on the heel because now physics kick in, and, so it's just an interesting thing. It's like, it's gonna be an interesting thing to see what happens. But certainly with the Bomar Putting Company, so my last question I wanna ask you before we wrap things up, Billy, what have you gotten out of being again, I'm not trying to pitch it, but, one of the things you think about it, every time you were in some sort of a meeting, one of those required meetings that you had to go to stay in good standing, before you got involved in leadership on a committee or then ran as a board member, remember they used to always say, "You're gonna get all this value out of it?" And, we all sort of chuckle, like, "Yeah, right." What was the time when you were like, I got involved and now what was it sort of clicked and you were like, "I'm all in."
It was kind of ironic that I even got in. So Mark Nelson, who I would consider one of my great friends, I got the van. He had a camper trailer, and we'd go to tournaments and have a ball. But he was going to take over as president, and he wanted someone to help him out. Okay, the board was cycling through presidents and vice presidents and whoever's, and so I said, "Sure," and I knew nothing about it really, right? I just know that I sit there and they're up on the podium at meetings and, "Okay, it's great," and so I'll never forget, it was at our chapter championship and I enjoy a few libations while I play golf, and so I enjoy a few when I get done, so it was the first time I ever met Frank, and we're at Meadowwood Golf Course in Liberty, and I don't know you have to give a speech. I just think I'm gonna become a director, right? So all of a sudden I gotta give a speech and I got shorts on, I got the beard, I think I had a beer, and I give this speech. And I still remember Frank probably going, "What's going on in the Inland Empire?" Right? So, um, and I don't realize that all of a sudden eh, Lauren Hegelum and Bo Baker and all these great young golf pros also are gonna give speeches, right? And I ended up getting elected, and looking back, I think it was a blessing because I've always been a player, right? I know all the players in the section. I mean, National Senior Club Pro a few months ago. I mean, Joey Carranza, BT, and Jeff Gove and I split a house. What a great week that is, right? So all the players I know. Now, I'll go to a board meeting, especially now I've been able to go to Arizona twice, did the spring and fall meetings. It's a different group in there, right? They're not all players. So getting to know them and getting to know how much of experts they are, like you are and what you do. Marcus King. I mean, Brett Eaton. I spent 2 hours or an hour by the pool in Arizona because I flew out later that second day, and I hung out with Brett Eaton at the pool. I mean, these guys are phenomenal. The girls are phenomenal, but, getting in there, being a director, and it was the same thing becoming secretary. It funneled through, and Trevor Fox and I were both directors, and he goes, "I'm not gonna do it. You're in." And Prue goes, "Bomar will do it." And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I've been fortunate. Golf has given me everything I have. I'll say that. And to give back, and I'm having a blast doing it, right? I know it's new for me. I'm older, but just being able to go to those meetings and meet new people and learn things, right? A lot to governance that even club pros that have been around for a long time don't understand. But knowing that there is a talented, dedicated board and section employees who make our section the best. I mean, you think it just happens. Pacific Northwest PGA is great. We got great tournaments. We do this and this. We do all that. But when you get to a meeting like in Arizona, you see it, like, why it works, right? And it's something you've done, I think, for a long time. And I'm looking forward to taking over as president and kind of seeing what I can do uh, to leave my mark on the Inland Empire and to help those younger.
Well, one of the things that's interesting is that, I was thinking as you were talking about the speech, I think it's an important thing to do that, but at the same time, a lot of times, I've seen younger professionals who, get up and they'd actually deliver a phenomenal speech, but they don't get the votes. And I'm not saying that they should. Usually it's just that they have not actually built a relationship with enough people in that room. Be because you did. You had built those relationships. There's a reason why Nelly tapped you on the shoulder. I mean, Nelly is the kinda guy where I don't know, I've never heard anybody say a negative thing about Nelly, honestly. Like, and it's because he's a very mindful person. He's a he's kind of in some ways, he probably might be a lot like Bruce. He's just, very aware of what other people are doing, and and he probably learned that a little bit from Davidson, who's now in Utah. Tom's a great golf professional, but the interesting part is like, I always kinda look at that, you're always interviewing, and you had interviewed whether you knew it or not for the past several years, and also too, the fact that you had that sort of perseverance, as you say, to get your membership. Like, you literally had all this life experience, and why not.
You know how many years it took me?
Yeah, I was gonna say 33. That's why actually I thought honestly, that's why I asked the question, honestly, because I thought that was just your running joke. But maybe that it just sort of worked out that way. Um, as sort of we wrap up, what's something you're looking forward to in the next year or 2 besides playing in the Hudson Cup, obviously, every single year?
Yeah, and every year I kinda say I'm gonna play less, but I've done nothing but play golf and tried to play golf for a living since I'm 19, so it's in my blood. I enjoy
Mhm.
playing. But, 2026, there's a lot of big things coming with Bomar Putting Company. I can't get into the details, but Brittany and I did a side saddle battle with Sam Hahn and their tour rep Liam,
Oh, okay.
Lab Golf, and did 9 holes on YouTube, and ended up I had to make a putt on the last hole for us to tie, but
Was that at Emerald Valley?
yes, yeah, on that last
I used to
green
work
that sloped
I
in.
used to work there.
Oh, what a phenomenal
I was
place,
a greenskeeper.
playing a US Open sectional there, and I couldn't hit.
Well, I can tell you this, I actually I used to mow those greens. I was a greenskeeper.
Oh, man, how many times you slide off?
Yeah, well, it was the weird part. It's like, in my brain, it's hard because the nines were switched. The old number 1 was the dogleg left
Yeah.
next to range, which is one of the hardest starting holes you can imagine.
Yeah.
Tiny little green. So, anyways, you made a putt at the end?
Yeah, and then we spent 2 days there, and it was phenomenal, but, Lab Golf was on the same putting green we were in 2020 when we kicked off Omar Putting, and Brittany and Sam have become pretty good friends and developed a relationship, but, to see what they've done in the same period of time that we've been going, it is phenomenal, but if you have to look at an untapped market, side saddle putting. I mean, it's a new way to putt. It's effective. It's athletic, and I can take people. I had a pro-am team in Vegas last month. All of us side saddle putters with Bomar Putting, and man, we made so many putts. Had so much fun. Just kind of when you're on the putting green and you got 6 or 7 or 8 putters out there doing the way we're doing. People are looking, but that's exciting. I think playing again this year. I'm looking forward to the senior section championship is at Hayden Lake Country Club right up the road.
That'd be great.
Oh, gonna be
Right
phenomenal.
down the street from the porch.
Yeah, the porch is right there, right? Gonna order a drink after you play 14 or 13, but
Well, that marina view behind the golf shop is gonna be hard to beat at Hayden Lake.
yeah, first time I played there, it was foggy. I didn't even know it was on a lake. I was playing for Long and Bun, and I said, "This is an okay course." Went back later, and I said, "This is just phenomenal." And they built the new bar where that putting green was down by the marina. Yeah, you've been there, so
Yeah, but that overlook where you look out over the marina with that outdoor bar is
it's phenomenal.
amazing.
Yeah, and I think then taking over in the fall as president of the Inland Empire, I'm looking forward to that. But mainly just the putting company's going big this year. Brittany's worked really hard on it, and as a entrepreneur and doing something that's got your name on it, there's a lot of pressure. I know that I have a lot more pressure every time I get over a putt. My name's on my van, my name's on my shirt. Everybody thinks you're gonna make 100% of putts when you own a putting company. I do sometimes, but but yeah, I think the amount of work Brittany's put in, and then I've put in my entire life, and she's done for the past 5 years. She's never putted conventional. Chase has never putted conventional. We've got tour players playing the Australian, New Zealand tour. So a lot of college players, a lot of junior golfers, and so it's exciting time now for what we're doing.
I've been impressed with both of your kids too that I've met, and I think it's pretty cool that they're gonna obviously be PGA professionals a lot younger than you, but at the same time they're still carrying on the tradition. And I will say that as having a son that's one of my kids that's a PGA professional, and
And he's a great young man. I mean, Mason
he's
is
turned out amazing, yeah, and he's a great player, far better than his dad ever dreamed about being. But the interesting part is I never even dreamed that he would do that. He made that decision himself, and I'm sure
yeah.
that was the way it was for Brittany and Chase. And actually, I've spent probably more time with Chase, but Brittany, she's very intentional personality. So I'm glad that she's part of your company in that direct way, because I think in the long run, that's
No, of course, and she's a perfect person to lead our company because I mean, she played 4 women's pub links. I caddied for her, and it was ice from Father's Day. What a fabulous week that was. She played college golf at Northern Iowa, and then went to University of Hawaii. And she played 4 or 5 tours around the world. I mean, when Chase caddied for her in the New Zealand Open, and we went down. Lydia Ko's there, but she's played golf all over the world at a high level, and is very, very good at what she does. I mean, she's got a personality, she's got a golf game, she's got the fire, that it takes to do this, because you get beat up in this business, and you get beat up trying to start a company, you get beat up for being different, and she's, taking the blows and still going forward, so I'm proud of her for doing that.
yeah. My final thing to say to you is you got to figure out how to you got the individual Jerry Norquist who gave you the term bulletproof. You got to figure out how to put that into your
Might be
marketing plan, because it's
might be the new putter, right?
well, but it seems there's a theme, there's a thread throughout all of this story that bulletproof and that sort of commitment to what you believe. So it's really cool. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you for the time. I've gotten to learn tons of new things about you, and about why you are who you are. I look forward to the next time we get to play golf. I can watch you make a bunch of putts, and maybe someday I'll be putting with a ball. We'll see.
I think everyone will.
That's well said. So again, thanks for your time, and again, thank you for your service to the Inland Empire and the section.